And now we're going to talk to Steve Fisher, that Duke team that knocked our Aztecs off here on San Diego Sports Leader, the Mighty 1090, and the Corky's Hotline. Hey, Coach, that run now, going to 12 Final Fours, you know, comparing that to what Coach Wooden did when he was back in the day with winning those titles, you think it's a little more difficult today because of the parity that's in college basketball and what Coach K has done?
I think it's difficult, Dan. Probably more difficult because of the numbers of really good teams. When Coach Wooden won, I believe early on there were only 16 teams that played in the tournament. You had to win your league to get into the tournament, and they were the prohibitive favorite every year. What he did was incredible, and he will go down in my book as the greatest coach in sport history. But Mike Krzyzewski's not too far behind him. 12 Final Fours in today's world it can't be done, and yet he's done it.
Coach, when you were playing against that Duke team, you're probably not shocked on them making it to the Final Four because of what they have with Okafor on the box. I mean, and plus the perimeter shooting. I didn't think they were that hot defensively, but you're probably not shocked they're moving on to Indianapolis.
No, they're not far removed from what you talk about when you talk about Kentucky. They've got great players. They've got almost as many McDonald's All-Americans as Kentucky has. And when you start with Okafor, but you don't end there. You go to Jones, the point guard, and truly the difference in their team now and what it was in January is Winslow, having been inserted into the starting lineup, who is a mismatch. She's a freakish athlete who plays the four but can shoot the three, and to me, he has made the difference for them at both ends of the floor. And your point, they are really good defensively too, Dan. They guard you. They make it hard for you to get entries into an offense, and they are exceptional at that end also.
Steve Fisher, here on San Diego Sports Leader, the Mighty 1090. Coach, do you take any solace in the fact that your basketball team fought them as hard as they could, and now here's a team that's a Final Four team? I mean, just like a couple of years ago, I believe it was when UConn won the national championship, they ended up knocking you out of the tournament. Do you look at that and say, hey, look, we took on one of the top 4 teams in the country?
I don't think so. You probably have a little soft spot for the team that beat you so that you can say just what you did, that we lost to a team that, got to the Final Four, won a national championship. But that's small consolation. We all want to keep playing. And in 2011 with Kawhi Leonard's group, when we were 34-3, we were better than, in my opinion, better than Connecticut, who went on to win the national championship. We were not better than Duke. We could have beaten them if we'd had our A game, and they'd have been a little less. But you lose, and you want that team to win, but it's small consolation to how you think of what might have been had you won.
Coach, I got to ask you, recruiting, and I know you're out there pounding the pavement again to get guys in to the program. Since you got here, I can't imagine how much easier it is for you, and just out of being the guy that won the national title at Michigan and coaching the Fab Five, it's got to be an identity now for your Aztec basketball program that when you call a kid up, the doors swing a lot open, a lot more freely nowadays than what they did when you first got here.
Point well taken. We have access to more of the upper-tier basketball players, and I think that's the way of the world with any line of work. If you're successful, more people want to come to work for you. If you win in basketball, you get opportunities to talk to some of the elite players in the state and in the country, and we're finding that true. Your point's well taken. I'm sitting out in front of a restaurant now getting ready to meet with a young guy who's in for his official visit this weekend.
Coach, that's awesome to hear. And, when I was watching Kentucky, I thought so much of you. I thought so much of what you've done with your Aztec program, on what you did at Michigan with the different versatilities of personalities, not just so much when it came to athleticism. You got to really respect on what Calipari has done with those guys, on getting everybody to put those egos at the door like you do with your guys, and to go out there for a common cause and win basketball games.
No question, I do believe that this is John Calipari's most together team. I don't know if it's his best team. When they won a couple of years ago with Cousins and that group, they were immensely talented. But this appears to be a group that genuinely like one another, buy into the theme of the team, and play that way. To have great players willing to play half the game and give of the statistics, it's easy to say, but it's impossible to do, and he's done it.
Coach, final question for you. I know you got to meet with the kid. Last year's UConn lost in the title game. You know, everyone's talking about this Notre Dame game, getting them ready for Wisconsin. Don't you think it was last year's game that may have put that chip bigger on their shoulder and how they should have won the national title a year ago, that they reflect back on that muscle memory game against UConn?
I'm not sure on that, Dan, to be honest with you. They had 3 players stay for another year when everyone thought they were going to leave. And why they stayed, who knows? But they stayed. And now they are not just all freshmen, but they have a great blend of Collie Stein, who's a junior, and the Harrison twins, who are sophomores, to add to the great freshman class that they continue to bring in. So I think you bring that experience, maybe coupled with we could have but didn't a year ago, and now we will this year, to the equation as we move into the Final Four with a 38-0 record.
I think these Elite Eight games have been sensational, Coach. I mean, I was riveted all weekend long watching those games. They were just sensational. Coach, thanks so much for taking time on your recruiting trails and bring some people home for us. We thank you so much, Coach.
All right, Dan. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.